In a quiet coastal town in Oregon, there lived a man named Daniel Miller. He wasn't famous, he wasn't rich, but he had something most people spend a lifetime searching for: unconditional love. That love came from a golden retriever named Max, his best friend, his shadow, his silent guardian. Every morning, Daniel walked to the small ferry dock at the edge of town. He worked as a carpenter on a nearby island, crafting furniture for the local community. And every morning, Max followed right by his side, tail wagging, eyes glowing with trust. When the ferry horn sounded, Daniel would kneel down, stroke Max's head, and whisper, "Be a good boy, Max. I'll be back before sunset." Then Max would sit at the dock watching as the ferry drifted away, his eyes locked on the boat until it vanished into the mist. Pause. Gentle ambient ocean sounds. And every evening, he waited. No matter how cold, no matter how long, Max sat there until Daniel returned. That was their ritual, a promise of loyalty stronger than words. But one morning, something changed. Daniel waved goodbye like always, boarded the ferry, and disappeared into the gray horizon. Hours passed, the sun began to fade, but that evening, Daniel didn't come back. The ferry returned, passengers stepped off, but not Daniel. Max's ears perked up. He sniffed the air, tail still, eyes searching every face that passed by. But his master, his world, was nowhere to be found. Night fell. The dock emptied. Still, Max stayed. Rain poured, waves crashed, and yet he didn't move. He waited all night, all morning, and into the next day. When the ferry crew saw him again, they couldn't bear to turn him away. So, they let him board. For the first time ever, Max stepped onto that boat, as if his heart already knew what his mind refused to believe. When they reached the island, Max leapt off and began running, sniffing every path, barking at the empty wind, searching desperately for the man who had promised to come home. He searched for hours until his paws were raw and his breath was heavy. And then, in a quiet grove behind the workshop, Max stopped. His nose touched the ground, his body stiffened, and suddenly he began to dig. Fast, frantic, trembling. Music softens, tension builds. Moments later, he found him. Daniel lay buried beneath the earth, lifeless, still, gone. Max let out a sound no one had ever heard before, a howl so deep and broken that it pierced the hearts of everyone who heard it. He nudged Daniel's hand, whimpered softly, and then curled up beside him, refusing to leave. When rescue crews arrived, they found that faithful dog still there, guarding his master's body. They said Max cried for days. And when a kind woman named Sarah Thompson, a local teacher, offered to take him in, he followed her home. Not because he was ready to move on, but because she reminded him of love. Sarah fed him, cared for him, and slowly, Max began to heal. He never barked much, but he always stayed close, as if protecting her was his new purpose. Weeks turned into months. Then, one Saturday morning, while Sarah was at the town's farmer's market, something strange happened. Sarah was chatting with a vendor when Max suddenly froze. His ears shot up, his eyes locked onto a man passing by. Without warning, Max lunged, growling, teeth bared, dragging the leash out of Sarah's hands. People screamed as he bit the man's sleeve, snarling and refusing to let go. The man shouted, trying to shake him off. But Max didn't attack randomly. He wasn't angry, he was sure. In the struggle, something fell, a silver ring rolling across the ground. Sarah's eyes widened. She knew that ring. It was the one Daniel always wore. Engraved with his initials, DM. Music intensifies, realization hits. Her heart pounded as she picked it up. Max backed away, still growling, standing guard between the man and his new owner. She called the police immediately. And when they questioned the man, a dock worker named Rick, he panicked. Under pressure, he confessed everything. He had robbed Daniel that morning, and when Daniel fought back, he killed him. He buried him behind the workshop and took his things, including that ring. Max had recognized him by scent, by memory, by loyalty. The town was in shock. Max, the dog who waited, who mourned, who refused to forget, had brought his owner's killer to justice. Reporters came. People cried. But through it all, Max stayed the same, calm, loyal, quietly watching over Sarah as if his mission was finally complete. Sarah hugged him, whispering, "You're not just a dog, Max. You're a hero." And for the first time since losing Daniel, Max wagged his tail again. This story, my friends, isn't just about a dog. It's about loyalty, about purpose, and about the silent truth so many of us forget, that love is not about possession, but devotion. You see, Max didn't live for approval. He didn't chase likes, followers, or applause. He lived for what was real. He lived for love. And when he lost it, he didn't give up. He found a new purpose. How many of us can say the same? We live in a world where people change their dreams, their values, even their identity, just to please others. We try to fit into boxes that were never meant for us. We hide our true selves to be accepted. We live for others instead of living for what truly matters. But here's the truth. When you live for others, you lose yourself. When you live for what's right, for love, integrity, purpose, you find yourself. Max didn't stop when things got painful. He didn't stop when no one believed in him. He kept searching, he kept loving, he kept fighting for the truth. That's what loyalty means. That's what purpose means. And that's what life should mean. So today ask yourself, are you living for others or for something real? Are you loyal to your heart or to the noise around you? Because at the end of the day, when the lights fade, when the crowds disappear, the only thing that matters is who you are when no one is watching. Max didn't need words. He didn't need validation. He just loved, fiercely, purely, endlessly. And through that love, he found his truth. That's the message of Max's story. Stop living for others. Start living for purpose, for truth, for love that never fades. So remember, my friend, even when life feels uncertain, even when you feel forgotten, there's always someone or something waiting for you to come home. Live with loyalty, love with courage, and never stop being true to who you are. Because somewhere out there, someone like Max is watching, believing in you, even when you stop believing in yourself. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful stories like this one. Because every story we share has the power to change a heart, maybe even save one. Thank you for listening. This is Stop Living for Others. Max, a dog's unbreakable loyalty. See you in the next story.